Hello friends, my name is Melih. I'm going to tell you a horror story that happened to me. I'm 20 years old now, and I experienced this event 8 years ago when I was 12 years old. That day, I came home from school as usual. After watching some TV, I went to my room to sleep. My brother, me, and my sister were staying in the room together. Sometime after we had all gone to sleep, I suddenly woke up in the middle of the night when someone nudged me. When I opened my eyes, I saw a scary silhouette with long ears at the window. At first, I thought it might be a dream, but I pinched myself to make sure that I was really awake, and I realized that I was really awake. I was very scared because of this image, and I tried to sleep again by reading the Quran to calm the fear inside me. The next morning, I immediately told my mother, father, and brother about this terrible event I had experienced. However, they said that such a thing could not be real, and that it was just a dream because of my young age. No matter how much I insisted, they didn't believe me. However, after going to and from school that day, when it was time to go to sleep, I slept in the same room again. But tonight, too, I opened my eyes again when a hand nudged me awake, and I saw that terrible, black-eared being I saw last night at the window again. This time, my sister also saw him, I think, because she suddenly started crying, and my mother immediately came into the room to take care of my brother. When my mother saw that I was also awake, she asked why I wasn't sleeping. So I said again that I had seen the terrible presence yesterday, and this time my mother believed what I was saying. The next morning, told my father what had happened, but he found us hard to believe. Although my mother suggested going to a teacher, my father did not care, thinking that there was no need for it. We got through that day too, but on the third night, I opened my eyes again when a hand woke me up, and I felt that presence much closer. My jaw was almost crooked with fear, and I screamed with this fear. My mother and father, who heard my scream, immediately came into the room, and when they saw me in that state, they were also quite agitated. We immediately went to the hospital, and the doctor could not understand the reason for what I was experiencing, but he suggested that the necessary procedures be performed for treatment. I had to stay in the hospital for 10 days. During this time, it became quite difficult for me to sleep at night. I was constantly waking up, somehow trying to get back to sleep. After I got out of the hospital, my mother suggested that my father go to a teacher. My father, on the other hand, ignored this suggestion by saying, "It's over. There's no need." However, the next day, without my father's knowledge, my mother and I went to a teacher. We told the teacher what had happened to me, and he immediately explained to us why. I just said that the being I saw was a genie, and the reason he was constantly poking me was that he did it to include me among them deck. He even stated that the slapping of my face was also done to punish me for not joining them. He said that the thing that protects me is the noble Quran, which I read before going to sleep. The teacher read me a few verses there and advised me that I should read these verses before going to bed. I'm 20 years old now, and after that day, I definitely don't go to sleep without reading a few verses before going to bed. After I went to the teacher, I never saw the being I saw again. My advice to you is to definitely read a few verses before you go to sleep. This will protect you. As time has progressed, these frightening experiences have grown and changed shape with me. However, I learned to protect myself by continuing to read the verses given by the teacher. These events made me realize how important spirituality is in my life. A few years later, when I started college, I tried to learn and understand more about these experiences of mine. I have read books on spirituality, attended seminars on the subject, and had the opportunity to chat with people who have had similar experiences. This process has made me learn that what I am experiencing is not unique to me, and that many people have experiences with spiritual beings in similar ways. These researches and conversations have led me to a deeper knowledge and understanding of the spiritual world. Over time, fear gave way to curiosity and a spiritual quest. I have learned to have a more harmonious relationship with my inner world and spirituality. During this process, I began to use spiritual protection methods, not only for myself, but also for others. Among my family and friends, I tried to help those who were experiencing similar fears. I also taught them prayers and verses to recite before going to sleep. This made them feel more spiritually secure, too. One day, when a friend of mine at university told me about a scary experience he had himself, I thought about how I could help him. My friend told me about the existence of a presence that she feels at night and how scared this situation scares her. So I shared with him the verses and prayers that the teacher had taught me. A few weeks later, my friend told me that these prayers had really worked and that she was sleeping more peacefully now. This experience has once again shown how valuable it is to share spiritual information and methods of protection. Over the years, these frightening experiences I've had and the knowledge I've gained in the aftermath have taken me on a spiritual journey. This journey has given a new meaning, purpose to my life. Now I believe that every event I experience has a reason, and the difficulties in our life make us stronger. And most importantly, I have complete faith in the power of spiritual protection and faith. This story is not only a sequence of events that I have experienced, it is also a story of reaching a deep understanding and wisdom about the spiritual aspect of life. Everyone may have different experiences in life, but this story shows that it is possible to overcome the fears encountered and embark on a spiritual journey. And remember, sometimes the greatest protection comes from faith and spirituality.